Hey, so welcome back to Metal Health. This is episode 7, but I guess part 2 of our Techfest review. So yeah, thanks for coming back and joining us again, or if you haven't seen the first one, go back and check that out as well. They're not necessarily in succession, but whatever.
You're missing out.
Yeah. So we got a few more interviews coming up in this show from Techfest that we went to. Coming up next, we've actually got Tides From Nebula. We've got an interview. We've also got a reaction, and I'm just going to be like hurling in a song in the middle as well. So it was like you were there or whatever. So we've got that coming up. You guys got other things to mention also?
Yeah. So I didn't mention on the first part was a lovely lady that we got to meet. You guys eventually got to meet her as well. Nicole from AlternateBeans. If you go to our website, it's www.alternatebeans.com. Basically, I've said this on another podcast as well. It's lifestyle, consciousness, and music. She runs an excellent website, and she's a lovely lady to boot. Yeah, I've introduced you guys to her. She's a lovely. Well, what would you say, Jay? She's a lovely lass.
I would say she is a very positive person.
Yeah.
And in fact, she was around just before or just after we did a react. I think it might have been Crystal Lake.
Right.
And she picked up on mine and Luke's. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was Crystal Lake, and just how we were talking about how music just makes you sort of feel so much better. We kind of got goosebumps and we were just gushing, and such vibes. Like you see, like this is what music does for you.
And exactly what she says on her site there. What does that say, Jay?
Give this world good energy. And yeah, you know, she could see it. She knew that we were bullshitting. We were gushing about a band. And she was absolutely 100% right.
We bonded over 40 Below Summer. Just throwing that out there.
Oh God!
But we had their Spotify on. It was weird. So anyway, we're going to go straight into Tides From Nebula interview. They were awesome.
Oh, incredible! I'd say that's the word I'd use.
Yeah, they were incredible.
Incredible.
Spoiler alert: our react review is gushing.
Yeah. But anyway, here it is. Hey, so we're here with a couple of the guys from Tides of Nebula. Just really want to have a chat with them. I know that you're new to the festival, aren't you? So, firstly, how does it feel to be playing Techfest?
How does it feel to play in Techfest? As we said 5 seconds ago to you guys, it feels a little bit, I don't know if... odd or strange, you know, because like we did like genty metal festivals before in France when we were touring with After the Burial.
Actually, we played in Germany. What was the name of?
No, the other one, Euroblast. Yeah. We played Euroblast, and it was the same situation. And so we have the same feeling today. And in one side it feels awesome, but from the other side it feels like, what will happen? What will happen? So yeah, I'm privately very curious what will happen, how the people will react, you know. So from one side looking forward to it, but from the other side I'm shitting my pants.
No, it's a very chilled festival.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Actually, we've been talking, you know, a couple of hours ago that this kind of audience is pretty open-minded. So it's going to be fine, probably, I guess.
We always fight.
Yeah.
So, like, I know you haven't played your set yet. That's at 7 o'clock this evening, so we can't wait to watch that. Have you had to... Techfest's notoriously really hot because they're in sheds. Yeah. What's the hottest venue you've played around, well, UK, Europe, wherever you've been?
The hottest one was in India.
Oh, yeah.
Oh shit! Oh, I remember. On sound check, my pedal board was so hot I was not able to pick it up.
The metal parts.
The metal parts, yeah. It was like plus 50 in the sun, and in the evening was so hot I was like flowing. And the day before that, we played in the small venue also at night, and I remember it was so hot, it was so many people, and we were playing like near the tree. So when we started playing, the leaves and everything was shaking, and the ants, really huge fucking ants, were like falling on us. So I was itchy all the show. And I remember on the next day when I opened up the pedal board, the like ants were like getting away.
Electrics.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was the hottest one. Yeah. So, but we like it. We like it when it's really hot because then we feel that we are you know.
For example, when some bands are just putting a fan in front of you, I just don't get it. I like to sweat a bit. Some kind. And I'm
not doing this because of the sweat.
Because of the hair. But we always dress. Long trousers. Long sleeves. Not t-shirts or anything like that. So it's a bit like masochist, but we like it. It's
when it's colder, we better.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it should be okay today.
Yeah.
So, what are your plans after Techfest? You going on tour? You said today that you've been in UK for 2 days already. What are your plans?
What are our plans after?
Yeah.
Are we going back home and we're gonna do? Oh no! Only today because we have a flight home back in the morning. So we're gonna see the headliners today and chill out and then go to airport, sleep there for 6 hours and fly home. So yeah, we're not touring right now because we are writing our new album and we are doing a little time off from touring because we've been constantly touring for the last 9 years. So yeah, we're doing nothing. We're lazy as fuck this year. Yeah.
we're playing. Yeah.
You're writing the material there.
Yeah. We're constantly in the studio. So like we took a week off to prepare for the festival, but we have 2 or 3 more festivals this summer, and then because we are
playing UK again.
Yeah, we're playing at Arcaeon festival in August.
Real good festival.
Yeah, it's in. And you know Venard from Ostracized? I'm looking forward to it. It's whatever. It's anyway. That's only I'm a freak.
Your favorite band was smaller than mine.
Yeah. So and also we're already 10 years old as a band. So we're playing a 10th anniversary show in our hometown in Warsaw this November.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be a massive, experience for us. So yeah, that's it. 4 or 5 shows this year, and next year, next album, and
2019 new album. I think that's when it's going to drop.
yeah, exactly.
First half a year or second half? Middle.
Something in the middle.
The festival run again.
Yeah.
We try to make it. We try to get it out May or June. Before the festivals, maybe mix a single just to get exactly. And we're gonna start heavily touring from the fall next year, autumn as you say. So that's the plan.
That'll be a lot more than 4 or 5 dates then next
It
year.
will probably 3 months. Yeah.
So that leads us into the next question actually. That if you're writing new material, how's that going? Do you think that you're really defining your sound, or you pushing broader out? Because obviously you're almost like a post-rock band, aren't you? Yeah. And I got to say, you've got 3 new fans in us, because we've never actually heard you before, and we were like, okay, yeah, we've got an interview. And I listened to your album Thursday night, Friday night on the way back in the car. 2016, one with the skyscraper on it. Yeah, so good. It's beautiful, man. Love it. So how's that going? Do you think you're going in different areas, or are you going along the same path and defining your sound a little bit more?
You have a chance to check it out, because I don't know if it's like this, but I feel if it's like it is like this. Our every album is different because we always want to do something a little bit different. We're still staying instrumental, we're playing instrumental music, but for example, first album is more rockish and metalish. The second one is very ambient-ish. The third one is very positive, and the fourth one you heard it's mix of them all. But right now we are doing most of our music is done on the keyboards.
We have
So-
no idea how we're gonna play it.
We have no fucking idea how we're going to play, because we are layering so many keyboards in the songs, and there are parts which, for me personally, I hear what is this band? Chemical Brothers.
Yeah.
Something like this, yeah. So it's still instrumental. We're still doing a lot of spades and delays and typical post-rocket shit. But also we're doing a lot of really electronic. We also have this one song which we how to say in English, roboczy tytuł. Working title, it's Prodigy. So so
Real good electronica then with this.
we always like electronic music.
Yeah, like not all the songs, but there are parts where we're totally freaking, like really odd for us, But on the other hand,
Doing the same stuff.
I mean, we developed some kind of our sound already. I guess it's unconscious. You're just playing your stuff, for so many years. So you can't get rid of some of your roots or or of your sound, whatever.
Just finding the new tools.
Yeah, we're just trying to make us excited, because this mic is locked.
It's a piece of rubber.
Yeah. But it's just we don't wanna record the same album a couple of times. We get bored really quickly. So it's a pain in the ass though, because I guess we would finish this album already if we would not be that picky about it, because it's like we are super picky. So we just putting to the trash most of the ideas and let's do something better. Let's do it other way or whatever.
It's the proggy.
Yeah, it's the prog. It's
like this.
it's cheesy, whatever.
You're your own harshest critics.
Yeah. So yeah, it's tough to finish it, but we're gonna make it, and hopefully we're gonna be satisfied as never before. So that's the plan.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Fantastic. So we just got one last question. It's like a signature question. So our podcast and blog is called Metal Health. It's a bit of a play on words because we find that music in general is a great creative output and cathartic output for however you're feeling, whether you're in a good mood, nasty mood, if you're depressed or whatever. Can you give us a time when either you two or either of the other band members have gone to music to help them out in a time of need?
Their state of mind.
You mean the other people?
No, our.
Band where music's helped you.
So yeah, I had this episode in the some point of my career. I had to quit the band for 1 year because I had really serious health problems. Touring wise, so I was not touring, and I had this problem. I was really fucking stressed out before going on stage. I was I was a mess before every show, so I didn't had a fun of playing music live for 6 years. And it was crazy because I was touring constantly and I didn't have fun of it. So, but I always, when I was going back, I was not able to tour. I was listening to our songs, and I always felt like, holy shit! I feel that this is something special, and I can't believe it. So, our own music, in some freaky way, which I hated to perform live, was keeping me to stay in a band and not, give up all this stuff and just do it. And thankfully I found the problem, I solved it out, and right now every show for me is yeah, our release. It's really great feeling after so many years of not even being conscious about having a problem,
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
We found the right guy, actually.
yeah.
No problem.
No problem. Yeah. So yeah, it was really tricky because from one side the performing and doing music was the cause of the problem. Well, maybe not the cause, but it helped me to find the problem and made me healthy. So yeah, it just took one operation and done. I'm perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's all our questions. Thank you very much for that. We're going to be repping your band. You on Spotify. You on all of your other social media outlets. We'll stick that on the blog and at the end of the podcast. But yeah, thank you very much. Back to the podcast.
Thank you. Cheers. Thanks a lot for that, guys.
So we just come out from seeing Tides From Nebula, a band that we hadn't heard of until like Thursday, Friday, when I was just checking them out on the bill. God damn, I've been checking them out on Spotify for the last few days, and I know that me and Terry listened to them on the way back from Techfest last night. Holy shit, that was full and flowing and just kind of ambient. I've never really seen a post-rock show before, so that was something. What do you want to say, Terry?
Yeah, well, I've seen a few post-rock shows. I've been with my good friend Pete to quite a few. I've seen Russian Circles before as well. It was just like, to me it was like a warm, I know I said this about the Contortionist, it was like a warm hug, but this one was like a warm hug from a long lost like friend that you haven't seen for a very long time. It was just like, washed over you, close your eyes, you got the goosebumps. Oh, these guys are absolutely fantastic. I would recommend to anybody to go check them out. If you're just after something nice and chilled, you've had a shit day or whatever, you just want to fucking forget about the world for an hour or so, check Tides of Nebula out. Jay?
Yeah, gushing is one word to describe how I felt about this. I watched the entire set, and anyone who's a Techfest regular know to endure those sheds for more than half an hour for a set is a challenge on your stamina. So to do a full 1 hour, that's how much I clicked with it. I saw the trick from you, Luke, so I closed my eyes for a couple of bits. Just watching them all. The drummer, some of that drumming was insane. You know, it was a shared kit on the second stage, so very standard setup. He's not got his own personal stuff, but he was making those drums sound louder than any other band I've seen on that second stage. He really did, and that's always the sign of a talented musician. But it was, it's going to be cliche because it's post-rock and there's no vocals, but this is music that you feel. And it's like I was swaying along. When they were sort of plucking the bass slowly, I was like swaying and stuff. I could imagine, I could be reading a book to this, I could be relaxing to this, and you listen to it and you think, this could be a film soundtrack. This could be a PS4, or well, say PS4, any brand of console. Could be a game soundtrack, especially if it was I would say a sci-fi setting. I know that might sound a bit lazy because they're called Tides From Nebula, so you think they're Nebula, science fiction and stuff like that, but absolutely insane. And for me, I'm pretty sure they are going to be, if not the band of the weekend, they're certainly in the top 3 bands of the weekend. That's how great they were. And they're a welcome palate cleanser, if you think, because they headlined the second stage. That's it. So that's it. They followed Martyr Defiled 1 hour sort of farewell set, which was brutal and heavy, full of breakdowns. They played right before Ingesta, who played an hour of slam. So it was a real good palate cleanser to sort of break it. And they even acknowledged that. That's it, exactly. And they even acknowledged it. They said, you know, we're probably the only band with 6 strings on the bill. We're probably the only band who plays in a tuning higher than O. So they're having a bit of a laugh and a joke about it. The 2 guitarists right at the very end on the final song, they did a bit of a Drusif. They both jumped into the pit. And again, this isn't so much about the band, this is about the festival. This is how chill it was. They were playing and they had an entire circle of people around them, and no one was like touching the guitars while they played. Once finished the song, there were some people trying to get some like hand slaps and high fives, but they respected the guitarist basement. Do you know what? They're finishing this song, both of them are in there strumming away, and there's this like respectful little sort of mini pit wall, so a few people taking photos, but no one would try and like touch the strings or fuck anything up. And I'm like, this is fucking Techfest. So it's like, you know, a really brilliant band who've got a very, like they said, a very different sound to anyone else, and no one fucked with that on that finale, which they could have easily done. You could have gone, you know, have a fucking strum of those strings. I'm going to stop gushing about them, but if you've not heard them, and you know, they were worried about people not being open-minded, but I think people are more open-minded than what they realise. But yeah, you don't always need to hear brutal death vocals. Give that shit a listen, seriously.
So this goes back to something that we were talking about earlier on another podcast about possible post-rock acts on Techfest. So we'll like talk about that. Back to the podcast.
So we've got an interview with Stuart from Arcaeon coming up that was nicely set up from my colleague Damien at work. You know Sam, the guitarist, who got us the interview with Stuart, the vocalist. So it's some weird tenuous link there, but it's nice of them to say yes to someone that hasn't been doing this for very long.
6 degrees of separation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's...
And all that Kevin Bacon.
Well, it's just like everything from all over the weekend. We're very thankful to everyone who's helped us out, anyone who's thrown us a bone, basically. So yeah.
With this music in the background, it makes it sound like we're dying or something.
Yeah. And to my wife and child, I leave. I mean, I know we sort of said thanks to him back on episode 1, but in a similar sort of thing. So Jake from Miscreant works at the same company that me and Luke work for, and literally he saw me in sort of at the merch area in between the two stages. I went, oh, hi Jake. So I'd not actually worked with him directly, but he recognised because I walk near his area quite often. And in for a penny for a pound, I just said, is it cool if our podcasting interviews you? And he had a very quick word with his band and said yes. So totally impromptu. They didn't have to say yes. We didn't go through any sort of proper PR channels. And I think that we talked about the festival being very chill in the episode, not the Techfest review episode, the episode before, the preview for Techfest. And I think just the fact that, through these connections and people who work in films, work in other areas, have all helped us out. This just kind of proves our point that we were talking about 2 episodes ago. Very, very, very chill. And we couldn't be more thankful to all these guys who helped us out.
To me, it felt like more like of a family vibe this year.
Yeah, community, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Special group of people just meeting in Newark Showground and having a fucking whale of a time.
United over the same love.
Exactly, yeah.
It's lovely.
True that. So here comes the interview with Stuart from Arcaeon.
Hey, so we're here with Stuart, vocalist from Arcaeon. They were real fucking sweet earlier. We checked them out. If you remember, on last episode, we actually called them out on One to Watch. So that's cool. Yeah. Jay was mentioning them. We were listening to one of the Spotify playlists for Techfest, and then we were just like, who the fuck is this? That's cool. That's cool. So, firstly, how does it feel to be playing Techfest? Because I know that you're a resident.
It feels, like a dream come true, really, because having been interested in metal for a very long time, and also being, this is my 5th year coming here, somebody that really embraces the culture and enjoys the music so much, it really feels like I feel ecstatic to be able to just sort of be part of it and enjoy the atmosphere with my friends. So yeah, it feels fucking killer, man.
Cool. So I guess you're sticking around all weekend like you usually are.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, actually, the first couple of days I didn't have anything to drink because I was like, okay, I need to make sure my vocals is on point for this show. But yeah, I had a few drinks after that, and had a blast at the campsite as well with my friends. But it's really nice to be part of something that everyone's really sound and everyone's really cool, and I love it. So let's keep it going.
Cool. So we've been blasting your material recently on the podcast and off the podcast. You writing anything new, or you just gigging?
Okay, so today we play 2 new songs. One of them's called Origin of Dreams. The other one's called Dataism. Dataism is available to stream right now on Facebook. It's a pre-production demo, but lots of people are thinking this is, that they're enjoying it. So that makes us feel great. And by the end of this year, I think we'll have an album out with my vocal on. The previous EP was a good friend of ours, so it's like a new chapter for the band.
Cool, great stuff. So a bit of a background thing now. So what would you say is your favourite artist, and how have they influenced your music or your vocals, or really this is like looking back at any other bands that you've been in?
So I really I love Greg from Dillinger Escape Plan. I love his screams, and also like how he does the cleans so well, and I think as well he pushes it so far that sometimes it's like, how is he even possibly doing this? Like, it's insane. But yeah, man, I love Spencer from Periphery. I think he does some really great stuff. And actually, there's a few friends of mine that have taught me some fantastic techniques in terms of warm-up and that kind of thing. So when you're doing, screams and cleans, you need to make sure that, I think actually probably the most important part of the performance is the warm-ups at the beginning.
Yeah, preaching to the choir, you got to look after them pipes. So Joe, you got any questions?
So just we just sort of discussed this before we actually first started recording. When I think Luke made the comment that's absolutely right about Techfest and the time of year that it takes place in. You mentioned it's got a Mediterranean vibe. So you played in the notorious Shed. Outside of Techfest, what's the hottest, stickiest gig you've ever played?
Oh, dude, you know, last year at Techfest, even though it's hot this year, but last year was the fucking hottest for me. It was the hottest gig that I've ever done, and then I knew that this time, when it came around, I knew what to do. Like, do not just thrash it out in the first tune. If you smash yourself too hard on that first one, then you're just not going to be able to catch your breath. Although, right at the end of this set, I fucking lost my breath so much at the last scream where I came up, I felt like I had an out-of-body experience, and I saw these people and I forgot where I were. Yeah, it was mad. Yeah, like I'd say the first. The first time we played, I played with a band called Sentience last year. But now, yeah, with Arcaeon this year was a special moment.
Okay, good stuff. So kind of, you sort of asked what the name of our blog was, and it's Metal Health, play on mental health. Yeah. And then we're all going to take Fest. It's quite a chill thing. So it's a really relaxed vibe, and we're not really judgy. We were speaking to what was the band we interviewed last?
Tides From Nebula.
Tides From Nebula, and they were sort of going, we feel a bit out of place here because we're not a heavy band and stuff like that. Yeah. And there shouldn't be any sort of judgment. So I'm going to ask you a question now about the sort of music you like. So not so much the singers and your techniques, but there's no such thing to me as a guilty pleasure. Yeah. So what albums made an impact on you that if someone listened to Arcaeon, they go, oof, that's a weird choice of album?
God, that's a really difficult question, but I just wanted to highlight just something really quickly, and that's Vola, Voyager, and Valis Ablaze. I think they all played, well, Valis played today, but Vola and Voyager played yesterday, and they were all cleans, and you could see people banging their heads to that stuff because of the melody. Yeah. And I think that obviously metal is about an aggressive, exciting adrenaline rush of, aggression primarily, but there's some incredible melodic stuff out there, and I mean, in terms of my music taste, I listen to classical, I listen to electronic music a lot with my wife, and again, it's just about sort of having a broad horizon. I suppose I listen to Tom Waits. You ever heard of Tom Waits? Yeah. I love the way that his voice sounds like rusty water and whiskey, and cigarettes and blues bars down in some state in the in the United States. Yeah, but. Guilty pleasures. There's a band that I really want to give a shout out to, actually. Astronoid.
Fucking love them.
Have you listened to that? It's like death metal, but mixed with dream pop vocal. Yeah. And I think that is killer. So that's my guilty pleasure,
right? Yeah, I love the Air album. That's fantastic. I am so glad you said that on vinyl. Nice. That sounds proper warm.
Yeah, it's a good play, man. Give it a spin.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, we'll go for the killer question now. So, because our podcast is called Metal Health, and it's kind of our tagline on our website, where the reason sort of us three guys, the guy he's out there sort of enjoying the Martyr Defiled at the moment, but the reason we all got together is we sort of recognise as a catharsism, just sort of getting together. Music is a release for us. It makes us feel better. Yeah. You said yourself earlier on that you've been into this sort of genre of music for quite some time. Can you think of a time where music really made a positive impact and sort of churned around your way of feeling?
There was a time when somebody close to me lost someone, and I listened to Nick Drake, and that made a big impact on me. And that's very acoustic kind of melancholic stuff, where it's about like a meteor that comes down to the ground, and all these kind of very, very somber moods. And that was probably the closest that I'd ever got to depression myself. However, I know people that have experienced it, and when it has the sort of knock-on effects of other people, especially if you're in your family, is really fucking tough and hard work. And I think that metal gives people a release. It means that they're able to express themselves in a culture where people are welcoming and friendly, and not just sort of caught up in some, political play. It's just really good to have that outlet, and I wish that people can speak out. I mean, everybody talks about people speaking out, and I think that is absolutely important to speak out.
Yeah, 100% can get behind that.
Cool, yes, that's
really
a
good
great
answer.
explanation. So yeah, obviously we're going to be repping your stuff. We'll likely play one of your songs on the podcast, and we'll obviously stick all of your social media details all over it. So yeah, thank you very much for that, Stuart. And now back to the podcast.
So we got Martyr Defiled on in the background, because we've got a Martyr Defiled interview with Duff and Matt that we managed to sort out. I've known Duff for many years, so I just went and saw him sitting on the grass watching the football on his phone. said,
Snap.
hey,
Yeah,
if you
I think their 3 Lions Martyr Defiled merch sold out in 5 minutes, I understand.
Yeah,
You told me.
man.
Fiverr
Went.
as well.
£5 a pop.
They were fucking everywhere. But yeah, they were cool. They said, well, I believe Duff's actual words were, if you just want me, I can do it at half time. If you want anyone else, it'll have to be after our set. So I'm like, cool, we'll do it later.
I like that kind of honesty though.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
And the thing is, I loved them that they were the. I know there wasn't a lot of love for the World Cup at the festival, but I love that little bit of where we was all gathered around their merch, and yeah, it went off when England scored and
What
stuff.
a fantastic marketing employer.
Yeah.
I said it to Matt. I said, getting the game projected up on a fucking giant T-shirt behind your merch store.
Yeah, that was genius. I don't like football. That was genius marketing.
They had a shitload of people sat around watching football. It was great. Everyone cheering and shit when we were scoring.
Yeah, beer going everywhere, and it was a good vibe afterwards as well because we won.
So you ended up missing some of Tides to interview them, didn't you?
Yeah.
And I've just got to say, so I wanted to watch all the Tides, so thanks Terry Luke for letting me watch all of it. And
it's cool. We managed to get back.
That you two picked up the interview. But can I just say about those guys, for anyone who's listening who doesn't know, Martyr Defiled are actually breaking up, so this was like one of their swan song dates. Now, so the reality is, Duff said to you, I can do a half-time interview if it's just me, but it'll have to be later for this entire band. In reality, this band's got no CD to promote, no live DVD to promote, no book to promote, no tour to promote. They could have quite easily said, nah, we're going to watch the match, we're going to play our set, and then we're going to get drunk.
Exactly. What do you want to know from us?
Yeah, and I thought it was really cool that they agreed to that interview. So that's just my 2 pence. I thought it was awesome.
Both, definitely from my point of view, both Duff and Matt, fucking excellent guys.
Absolute dudes. I know they'll probably continue doing music stuff after Martyr Defiled, so that's cool. We're also going from the interview with Matt and Duff straight into a reaction that we had over Sunday afternoon's Stomb, who were just incredible as well.
They were,
We'd never heard of them until checking out the Techfest playlist, I don't know, the week before or
something like that. Very early on in the day as well.
Yeah. But they were really cool.
Second band on the second stage. So
wakey.
So you're talking that's about the 12:30 slot. Ooh.
They were the band where I was like, okay, I just want to be there for that time because I really want to see that band. So we're just going to go straight into the interview now. So here's the interview with Matt and Duff.
Hey, so welcome to Metal Health Podcast. We're sat here with Duff and Matt from Martyr Defiled. I know Duff from way back when I used to be in a band with him, and we've been watching Martyr Defiled for fucking time. So we just got a few questions we just wanted to pass out. So firstly, I know you've played Techfest before. You played last year, I think. You probably played a couple of years before that. As it feel to be playing Techfest for your, I guess, last time?
Yeah, absolutely the last time. Last ever open air festival appearance ever. It's good, this particular festival feels very different to a lot of the festivals that you go to, some places like Download and places like Reading and Leeds and the bigger festivals, because they're so big, it's not a slight against them, they are so big that it becomes very impersonal, and you stick very much within your friendship group at the festival, and as a band, you never really get too close to the fans because it's all very much separated. You've got the guest area and all that sort of stuff. Whereas at Techfest, it's so friendly and it's so integrated and it's such a nice community. And we were sort of discussing yesterday. Me and Richard came down Thursday night and sort of watched Harbour Coward, watched Crystal Lake, and just the vibe of being a punter at the festival is really, really special. So I think it's a good way for us to send off.
Yeah, we've kind of found, over the years, this is comfortably one of the friendliest festival. Everyone just wants to, everyone love everyone, isn't it? Everyone just comes and has a good time.
Community.
Absolutely, no, it's fantastic. It's a great community as well. For what is typically, you would say, as Techfest, starting from tech metal, everyone's just got such a broad scope, and that can't be said for a lot of other genres, not just within metal, across a lot of main categories, but it's always been a pleasure, and we were thrilled when we had a chat with Simon and we were able to do one last one. It's great. Really happy.
Cool. So we're outside of Techfest. Like Techfest got like this super notoriety about like being like ridiculously hot because you sat in a cow shed with a bunch of lights and stuff. Where is the hottest place that you've played?
I have my pick.
I'm one of two. If we're saying local, I once did one show at Joiners in Southampton that was beyond ridiculous. It wasn't even that hot outside, but the venue was insane. It was quite uncomfortable, to be honest. But just purely for the weather was when we played. It's an hour north of Miami. Lake Worth in Florida. It was absolutely scorching.
It's hellish.
It's literally hell. It's like 35 miles from the Caribbean, so you're in a Caribbean temperature essentially, in a Caribbean humidity. It was wild, but without being on a wild. Yeah, it was wild. We'd just done a 1,000-mile drive from Houston over a day. We'd literally been in the car for like essentially 36 hours straight. We got there and we played, and it was amazing. It was a great show as well. I can remember Matt actually jumped up on the bar and nicked somebody's beer halfway through the show. I can remember that was caught on camera. But yeah. But it was insanely hot temperature. Yeah, it was like a walk around in your pants job. Yeah. You couldn't, but everyone was doing it. It was just, but everyone obviously there is used to it.
I can't do anything but
wild. Yourself?
My pick is a little bit cliche. I'm gonna go Barcelona.
That was awesome.
We toured Spain and Portugal with Architects in June of 2014. Yeah. And we did some off shows, and we were just driving all over the place. We drove like 17 hours to get to Barcelona. It's a little bit of the theme that we drive long distances to these hot shows. And we got there, and it was like we had a couple of hours. It was the day that England played, not Spain. It was a World Cup.
It was Uruguay. It was either Uruguay or Italy because we got beat.
Yes. It was Italy.
Is that the one where Suarez came?
I think it might have been.
Yeah, one of the two. Either way, so I trotted off to a little Spanish cafe and had some olives and a Sagres while I watched.
When in Rome.
Right. And the Sagres while I was watching the game, and I came back to the venue, and it was a bigger venue. We were playing in a smaller room upstairs. I'd not been in, and it was like walking into a wall. Like from the outside, it was quite temperate because it's like an attic in a metal venue in Spain. I walked into it and we played. I think I actually pretty much played in my boxers.
Yeah,
and
again,
took my shoes off the lot. I was like, I can't deal with this heat.
The Marseille show was also very similar, which was I think actually the day before was also very, very similar. Yeah. Again, if you're going to be around in these climates, though, you're
going to talk Mediterranean.
you're going to get hit.
Well, it's like we've got like Mediterranean weather here or some shit, but like nothing's going to compare once you've been there and like done it, right?
As Brits, we can't deal with it.
No,
exactly. So
we had 45 minutes in the Med when we were in the south of France the day before. It was the day of the Marseille show. Yeah. So we just played Montpellier, and we were about to go over to Marseille. We had about 45 minutes in the Med. Myself, Ryan, and Matthew, but me and Ryan in particular, lobster. It took 45 minutes, and we were lobster red. I had to keep out of the sun until 3 days.
Yeah, like when you're like purple.
Yeah.
You're not even red no more. You're like.
Yeah.
You're like puce.
That's got to fuck you up live though, because holy shit, are you?
As well, I bet you.
Yeah.
It was wild. It was wild. Yeah.
So, obviously, this is like your farewell sprint. So I know that you're doing a tour, which is kind of continuing on throughout the year, isn't it? Any of you up to anything else musical onwards? Because I know that Matt, you do a lot of guest vocals. I've listened to quite a lot of songs where it's like featuring.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've been asked. You know, it's one of those things that. The reason that we've walked away from Martyr Defiled and decided to call it a day was because I can't commit my time. You know, I've got a career, I've got we've got a house, get married, all these sorts of, you know. God forbid I have kids, and we'll keep away from them for a while. But you know, and it's difficult to. In Martyr Defiled when we started, it was very much myself Richard and one of the other guys who started the band with this guy called Ali, who were driving the band forward constantly, you know, let's do this, let's do that, let's spend time, let's practice once a week. And I've got to be honest, I haven't got the energy for it anymore, you know. I'm blowing myself out at work, you know, I have a job with quite a lot of responsibility and a lot of stress on my shoulders. I'm renovating a house, and I'm just thinking, you know, the people come up and say, yeah, do you want to be in a band? And then they expect you, because you're in the band, to then drive the band. And I'm like, it's cool if somebody wants to come to me and say, I've got all these songs, we're going to play a couple of shows and it's going to be fun. And I'll, you know, I can just be a member, but it tends, that never really ends up being the case.
You're going to have to write something.
Yeah, not even just the writing. It's just the sheer effort of just dragging 4 people with you to, you know, to let's do a practice, let's play a show, let's write these songs, you know. And I haven't got the energy for that anymore. Spending my energy elsewhere.
It is a perspective of what you want to get out of it. Essentially, you know, we've loved MD and we knew it was time to wrap it up because we have done nothing but drive it up until 2015. I appreciate that we are now 3 years on, 1 album, but if you look at the amount of shows we've done in the last 3 years compared to what we did in the 18 months prior, we've probably done about a 1/7 of the shows in 3 years that we did in. We had about a 2.5 year period where we figured it out, and it was a full-time job, which we loved. You know, to be honest with you, I probably would do it at the drop of a hat again. I mean, again, it's all circumstantial to your life. At the time in 2015, I couldn't do it. Neither could Matt, neither could Ryan, which is why we had to, you know, go on the back burner slightly. But it is a perspective of what you want out of it. I don't want to stop playing metal. And as you will know from when we did Fallen Hero back in 06 and 07, I am quite full on when I do a band. I don't want to just do a band for it to tick over. I want it to be as successful as possible and push the music out. Then I want people to hear it. Yeah. I'm proud of my music I write. Yeah. I read something the other day which is absolutely true. If your own band isn't your favourite band, you're fucking writing bad music, mate.
What's going on?
Do you know what I mean? Like, you should want to listen to your own music, and I'm really proud of the stuff I've written. And the same would stand if I were to do something again. I wouldn't want it to just be we'll just get together occasionally. If I'm doing that, honestly, I'll play covers. Yeah. Which I love as well, by the way. I just love playing drums. But if I'm going to do that, I'll just be in a covers band.
I'm going to hit up those Killswitch songs again.
Mate, I honestly love them.
Pantera.
Love it, mate. Honestly, I'm on for any of it. Let's do it, honestly.
So that leads us into what albums have made the most impact on you and have influenced your music styling. So either, you know, MD or any other bands.
How many should we do?
I've got a couple, like drum, whether we're going for like emotional, like life that you can just listen. Early Killswitch, the first 2 albums, maybe the 3rd album as well, to be fair, but definitely the first 2 albums I can never get away from. I feel like Mr. Nostalgia now because they are actually quite old.
Yeah.
You know,
it's amazing when you look back at it and you're like, Jesus, are these albums really?
Yeah, they really are quite old, but I can't get away from them. They're absolutely incredible. Drum-wise, though, I've got quite a wide from starting to sort of play in bands at probably about the age of 16. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Chad Smith's been a huge influence. Standard with metal when I was sort of 17, 18, Joey Jordison, and the Iowa album, which is flawless. Absolutely flawless. Absolutely flawless. I wouldn't say it hits me on the same emotional level, but on a sort of pump. If I'm ever in a what do I do as a pick me up, not so much as a calm me down.
Like a drum gym.
Yeah, like as a pick me up. Absolutely, Iowa is on a go-to. There's 3 or 4 tracks on there that I have to bang. Yeah, to be honest with you, a lot of my influences are all nostalgic. I don't really. Something might come to me, and I'll, you know, with Tourette shout at you in a minute. But I don't think I've got anything that's that recent that is a go-to album. Mine are all very nostalgic. Funeral for a Friend as well. Yeah. That is something that I play religiously.
Yeah. Which one is Casually Dressed?
Yes. Yes. I mean, I do like. I do like Hours, but Casually Dressed was again something that is always a go-to for me for. I'm feeling nostalgic.
Cool.
If we're talking vocals and metal, is that quite fitting actually? Continent by Acacia Strain.
Okay, yeah.
It is my all-time favourite metal record. It is from start to finish, relentless. It's just got enough of everything. That came out when we were 2008, when we were in like the formative years of Martyr Defiled. I know, right? That came out in 2008, and I remember putting the Acacia Strain on their album release tour at the venue that I worked at the time. I remember listening, just watching it, being like, "Oh my god, that's what I want to do." You know, that's it for me. In terms of just albums that have influenced my life, I'll probably say Ready to Die by Notorious B.I.G.
Okay.
I will probably also say Transatlanticism by Death Cab for Cutie.
Nice.
You can see there's a slight varied approach. I don't think, those two editors, the first two editors, Album Melons, The Start, The Back Door, they were big on the playlist as a lot of editors' influence in the lyrics to the first Martyr Defiled records, absolutely.
Actually, I just need to give a very notable shout out to My Chemical Romance and 3 Cheers, because honestly, I'm quite clearly just an emo kid at heart. Yeah. I quite clearly am. Again, I'm not dissing, and they've obviously made an absolute packet, and congratulations to them. I thought every album after that was really not very good in my opinion, but that album...
Do you know Black Parade?
No, I don't know.
Oh, I love Black Teenagers is my favourite My Chem song.
No, I'm like that whole... That again, that album is another flawless one. I'd probably say End of Heartache, that one, and... Funeral for a Friend. For my... I was more of a drum driving, like that's again. That's not a. I'm sitting there trying to get my head straight. I'm getting pumped. That's my pickup. Absolutely.
Cool. So, who's your favourite artist of all time? Who do you find yourself listening to, basically, like 20 years ago and right now?
Michael Jackson.
Okay.
It's not even a question.
That's pretty standard.
No, it really is. Amazingly as well, I was lucky enough to see him. My dad was a big MJ fan. He saw him twice in the 80s, and then in 96, so I would have been 11, he took me to Don Valley Stadium and I saw him on the history tour. A lot of people haven't had the fortune of seeing him that are my age and our generation, and I'm fortunate enough that Dad braved it and took an 11-year-old to watch it, and it's I can still remember it now. I do love all 80s, 70s, 80s, Motown.
This got to be our generation, though. That was the shit that you remember from when you were in the back of the car with your folks and stuff. That's what you remember listening to.
Yeah.
Eminem,
I
think. The Marshall Mathers LP and Slim Shady LP.
Flawless.
But I'm just trying. What I'm really trying to think, the way you phrase the question. What did I listen to 20 years ago that I have listened to recently?
Your favourite artist of all time? So something that you've it has always been
I can never answer the question when someone says who's your favourite band, because I'm like, of what kind of genre?
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Of what day?
I'd probably come back and say Tool.
Tool for Enema.
Yeah, amazing album.
That album for me was just like mind blowing. Yeah.
I saw them on the Mastodon. Well, when Mastodon supported them at the Ice Arena, that was good.
Yes, I was there.
Okay.
So was my missus.
I was
gutted I was in seats. I wanted to be standing.
That's an age thing. I'd rather sit down now.
It's been on.
Yeah, exactly. It's I guess Dre. Take that, and I'll also go back to Death Cab for Cutie. It's kind of. I apologise if I'm preempting the question, but that Transatlantic album, Transatlanticism, is my if I'm sad album. That's if I'm having a bad day, or like me and my missus have had like a horrific argument, and if I'm feeling emotional, it's kind of counterproductive because it makes me more sad listening to it. But it's quite cathartic. That is. Particularly the title track, Transatlanticism, the song.
I mean, it's difficult to say, but
it would. That actually, I'm not particularly a cry kind of guy, but that does bring me to tears. Fully bring me to tears. That song. I can't listen to it outside of that emotion either. Some of the other tunes I can, but as soon as that comes on, if I'm in a different headspace, I'm like, skip. Can't do that right now. It's those three probably. 2001. For albums, Eminem, the first 2 Eminem records, and that Death Cab for Cutie album.
That's awesome. You did preempt my question, but that's cool because now I can just push that towards stuff. Any particular music that you find helps you out in specific times if you're feeling shitty or rough or something? What's your go-to?
Yeah, like I said, metal's always a pick-me-up. If I'm feeling like not so much down, maybe lethargic, tired. I feel like I've got a lot on my plate in that respect, more physically really. Emotionally, to be honest, I'd probably go back down the whole sort of 80s and 90s route, you know, Michael Jackson's, Whitney Houston's. You know what it is? I like music with bollocks.
Yeah.
And that doesn't, obviously that translates to metal very well, and I'd like to think that people think my music's got bollocks because I try and play drums with fucking testosterone. But yeah, with better testosterone behind it. But it can be an acoustic track, but it can still have bollocks. Do you know what I mean? And if I'd probably say I've got a playlist that could have anything from, you know, early Muir and Die Art Is Murder, and even our tracks that I put on it, and then it's also got some Ed Sheeran, Marvin Gaye, and Sia. Chandelier's got one of the biggest set of bollocks I've ever heard.
I fucking love Sia.
Literally, that song has got one of the biggest set of testicles I've ever heard. And again, that's the sort of stuff I put on something that I feel that's what picks me up. Music's a passion, and what I hear for people playing passion in their music, that's what gives me a hard on.
Nice. Well, we'll leave your hard on to us going out on. So back to the podcast. Hey, so we've just come out from seeing Stomb, however you pronounce it. We'll find it out at a later date. They were fucking incredible. We thought they would be. We checked them out on the Techfest playlist before coming last week when we were doing our last podcast, and we were particularly excited about seeing them then. Yeah, they fucking tore it up. 4-piece instrumental, almost Meshuggah-esque Thal band. Fucking sweet, but also a great progressive kind of almost post-rock kind of feel to it as well. How do you feel about Terry?
Oh, yeah, well, absolutely blown away by it. I think I said on the preview podcast as well, I think these were ones that I put out for the ones to watch, or if you've never heard of any of, like, you know, the smaller bands, not a slight on them at all, but yeah, they sounded like a headliner to me. Absolutely crushing. Good way to start the day off. Jay?
Yeah, funny you said that. So literally my thoughts about sort of starting the day off. I mean, last day at festival, I mean, we're not camping, but you got to think of all the people that were, you know, to turn up. And you're probably hanging from the previous 3 evenings. Your stamina's at a low point. They still were a wake-up call, but picking up on your point, Luke, about post-rock, I thought these were almost like, because it was a 4-piece instrumental, they were all doing like the flip side of Tides From Nebula. That's it, and like you said, because they got the Meshuggah-ness, the heaviness. So yes, they're a bit post-rockish, but some of it was a bit more sort of rhythmic. Not standard's probably the wrong word, but more rock than post. But I thought, yeah, do you know what? This would be an angrier Tides. So less of the sort of mellow stuff. Yeah, absolutely. That's it. It's amped up. It's had some steroids. A bee stung it, and it's got angry. But still, a lot of talent there. Crazy talent. Yeah, that bassist was up and down that fretboard. He wasn't on frets 0 and 1. Open and first fret. He wasn't on the top 2 strings. He was up and down that fretboard, and he was up and down the strings. Some bonker stuff. But then again, I'm not taking away from the 2 guitarists or drummer there. Yeah, what a way to start Sunday. Fantastic stuff.
So, like the 2 guitarists, they were using an Ibanez S series and a Mayonnaise Duval, I think it was, both 7-string and a 6-string bass as well. And the bassist played like he was a guitarist. He was playing up at the octave when they were playing at the Open, and it just really worked. It worked like they had 3 guitarists as opposed to, like, you know, 2 guitarists and a bassist. He was fucking crazy. He was coming up to the front of the stage, and he was screaming at us to all come up the front and going in, and he had a very kind of Jens look to him as well. But they were real cool. You need to go check out their last EP, which I think came out last year, Duality, by Stomb, whatever it is. Anyway, back to the podcast.
So we had a few bands to look forward to on the Sunday.
Oh, did we ever?
Looking at it now on the list, I'm just like, holy shit, there are a lot of bands there. So we had aforementioned Stomb, who you just caught our reaction from.
Caught me by
surprise. We checked out Lotus Eater, they were real cool. We got the Hirsch Effekt, Employed to Serve. Conjurer, Loathe, The Secret Act, whoever that may be. And if you remember, we did make guesses at it in episode 5, I think it was, the run-up to Techfest.
Yeah.
So we ain't going into that. We'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, we've got a few reactions coming up. So we've got reactions straight away from Conjurer and Hirsch Effekt. I am going to throw a Hirsch Effekt song in the middle of that, so again, it'll make you feel like you were there with us. And then and we'll speak to you again in a bit.
So, holy shit, we've just come out from seeing Conjurer on main stage. God damn, did they fucking tear that shit up. The one thing that I really did enjoy about it is that there was no real respite between songs. They just went between song to song to song to song to song. There wasn't any fucking bantering about, and don't get me wrong, I like bantering about, but sometimes you don't need it. And they just fucking blitzed through that set. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they knew exactly how fucking heavy they wanted to make it. Terry, I know that you were like fucking crazy excited to see these guys. So here you go. I know you told me you had no words, but produce some.
I'll try to. Fucking hell, that was incredible. One of the sets of the weekend for me, no doubt. I mean, I really love the Contortionist set, but I think Conjurer have just moved them out of the way. It was just insane of playing all the fucking songs off Maya. If you've not heard that album, please go check it out. And I think it was playing some, even they did a few tracks off their EP that they released. It's just, the heaviness was insane, and it was just crisp. You know, sometimes things can be too heavy and they can push it that little bit too far and everything becomes distorted and stuff like that. Conjurer don't have that problem. It's heavy in a crisp way. I was losing my shit down the front. I know you guys kind of came out a little bit early, but I stayed all the way to the fucking last song. Yeah, I was down the front, made a few new friends, and Conjurer, the fucking shit. Jay.
Yeah, quite another sort of. We've sort of discussed this when we're talking about festivals, actually, in that you sort of sometimes wonder, does the name Techfest kind of constrict who they book? And you probably would think, well, would you book Conjurer the most technical? Because kind of like the comment that Tides From Nebula made yesterday about how they only use 6 strings. I noticed they had the very classic setup. You know, 2 6-string guitarists, 4-string based. Standard 4/4 time signature. At this point, you're going, well, where's the tech in that? Where's the gent in that? And there's none. But at the time, what Luke said, very sort of no nonsense, no in between song sort of stuff, which, like Luke says, is a place where it can actually get a bit too annoying. Some frontmen love it too much. It reminded me of Slayer, because Tom Araya's not a big talker. And back when, God rest his soul, Jeff Hanneman in a very rare interview, and he likes that short, sharp shock of song, let's not ruin the momentum. And that was the thing, like Luke said, because there was no between song banter, they had momentum. It was like one track, into another track, into another track, into another track. So are they the most technical band here this weekend? Definitely not. But that said, regardless of the fact the festival's called Techfest, they definitely earned a place. By the time sort of we did sort of tip out before the last couple of songs, they'd got a crowd on par with technical bands that played at the same time Friday and Saturday, would you not say, Luke? Yeah, so not a tech band, but they pulled the crowd the size of a tech band, which kind of probably shows a little bit of momentum that's building around the actual band, sort of the hype on print, in other podcasts, in other YouTube sort of react videos and stuff like that. Really sort of refreshing and a change of pace, you know, to hear someone just playing box standard 4/4. And I think that's what I took away from that. It's just like, yeah, they're going to play Bloodstock in just over a month, so I'm going to get to see him again, which is really fucking cool, actually. So yeah, for me, it's just like, well, that's my first bite of the cherry, and I'm going to finish the job lot off in just over a month. But yeah, fantastic set.
So, like, in essence, if you want to listen to something that's going to feel like you've been kicked in the balls until it's gone up into your fucking brain, check out Maya from Conjurer on Spotify and Apple Music and fucking everywhere you can get it as per usual.
Fucking bowels to something, then that's the album to do it to.
These are your boys, and they're young lads as well, which is even fucking better because we're going to have them for a long time. Exactly. So anyway, back to the podcast.
Hey, so we just got out from watching the Hirsch Effekt on second stage. They were fucking phenomenal, as I thought that they might be. I caught them off on Off the Road Studios, which is a YouTube channel, German YouTube channel, I think, that does a lot of live recordings last year. They were fucking crazy. They had a real, I don't know, almost scatty Every Time I Die approach to a lot of the songs, but there's also a weird ambience to them that's just, I don't know, really refreshing. And different from a lot of the bands that are here this weekend as well. They played a couple of years back, and I think they went down pretty well that time, which is why they've been pushed up the bill this time. Yeah, I loved them. I watched them. Jay, you were there the entire set, right up in the front row. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I absolutely loved them. So I'd not really heard them. I'd not caught them on YouTube. I think on our last pod, we sort of thought these as one of the ones to watch. So I knew I was going to tag along with you, and I was a little bit hesitant almost, because when you sort of, I think before you went in, you sort of said, oh, there might maybe a little bit sort of Dillinger-esque and whatnot. And I'm, for a metalhead, I'm not the world's biggest Dillinger fan by any sort of stretch of the imagination. But it's funny because what sprang to mind, even though they don't really sound like them, but it's Car Bomb. And on paper, I shouldn't like Car Bomb, because I'm not a massive Dillinger fan, I'm not a massive Converge fan, and yet Car Bomb's Metal album just, tickle my balls, knock my socks off, whatever hyperbole you want to use. And seeing those guys live, seeing the Hirsch Effekt live, it was the same sort of thing. It was that kind of Car Bomb. It's like, yeah, it is. It's a little bit, sort of all over off kilter time signatures. The singer like going between sort of soft crooning. I got a full-on Faith No More vibe, but King for a Day. Like kind of their, when Faith were released that was kind of like the fuck you to Angel Dust. And it's like, even though that weren't big in America, but it was huge in Europe, and they kind of went, right, okay, we'll go even more bonkers. And I got that King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime vibe from this. And I loved it. Yeah, that's it. He reminded me of Mike Croon, although he looks like Gary Oldman in the Professional, or Leon, depending on which country you see the film in. Yeah, just absolutely crazy. So yeah, some electronica as well. I noticed the drummer did a little lap so he could say hi to the audience. So they're not afraid to use loops and samples and electronica, which was nice to see. They knew, again, when I talked, I think it was yesterday, or if I know it was the Friday I was talking about stagecraft, they certainly knew how to play to an audience. That final song was probably the most simplistic, but you should have seen the maniac psycho killer grin on the guitarist's face when he knew he was playing the chug riff, and he knew that it was going to get the entire fucking crowd bopping, and it did. It was just like, and again, that's the sign of a great band who, that's probably like one of their earlier tracks, and probably not the most challenging for them to play, but they know how to end on a high, and that's just so great to see. So it's no wonder they've come back. So from the UK, we're not from Germany, but looking on Spotify, it looks they are absolutely clattering their home country. September, October, November. So if we get any listeners from mainland Europe who are in or travelling through Germany between September and November, if you get a chance, seriously, watch the Hirsch Effekt. Absolutely stunning band for a three-piece. Can't believe the sound they produced. Back to you.
Yeah, you can catch their album The Escapist, which I think came out at the back end of last year, December, I think. It's on Spotify and Usual Methods. Back to the podcast.
So you can hear in the background Sleep Token, who were the secret act that I made a guess at a couple of episodes back. I was really pleased that I was right, because that's exactly who I wanted to see. I've been to Sleep Token for a little time now.
Same here.
Man, they fucking nailed it. It was really strange being in that shed that's usually so fucking loud, to be in a group of people that were just like quietly waiting, and it was just, I don't know, real surreal, bonding. It was a good experience.
It's fucking out of this world. I didn't want to listen after this set. I was just emotional, blown away.
No more music.
Yeah, no more anything. I was done. I was literally fucking done after this set, mate. I was in awe of it. Fantastic. I can't wait. I want to go see them again.
Tying with what Luke said about everyone being respectful in the crowd. Now, I know that Shaun from Loki Films and indeed the UK Techfest Facebook page gave this podcast a call out.
Yes.
So hopefully we've got some listeners from Techfest now. anyone who's a Techfest regular knows that as any band is on stage, or as they're about to go on stage, and there's that kind of that build while you're waiting for them to come on, and then even between songs, there is the Techfest. Woo!
Yeah.
And that punctuates every band.
The old Ric Flair woo.
The Ric Flair woo. And you get a lot of Yank bands, especially, sorry, American, that wasn't meant as a slur. And they're like, what's with this woo thing? And then they kind of just go, okay, woo, and then they start sticking the mic out. I didn't hear a single fucking woo.
No, it was
dead. Token. I'm not saying it gets on a text, it doesn't. I think it's awesome, but what Luke said about respect, didn't hear a one. And I think that goes to show the power of that band, that everyone was transfixed. There was no...
The power was fucking unbelievable for me. It was such an emotional fucking roller coaster. It was unbelievable.
I'm going to chime in with my Yorkshireness now. They only charge 15 quid for a t-shirt. Fucking Sleep Token, 15 quid for a t-shirt. Yeah? There were like some headliners in the same slot, Friday and Saturday and Thursday charging more than that. So, yay, Sleep Token for keeping
it real.
And also Terry has actually, although he doesn't know who it is, but apparently he's met one of them. He's introduced one of them.
Thanks, Shaun, you twat.
It's like 1 out of like 123 people or whatever.
Yeah, that I met. That Shaun brought me to. Well, he did say he pulled me to one side and he was like, "You have met the bassist this weekend," and I was like, "You twat."
I will have to mention as well that it obviously wasn't Sleep Token that finished the Sunday night proceedings. It was actually Betray the Mars.
It was, but we weren't ready for that, was we, mate?
I didn't get to see it. Sleep Token just brought me to my knees. You know.
Yes.
It was,
Snap.
That would have been a very different experience to follow on, and I wasn't in the emotional place for it, unfortunately. I was
Same here.
to get home and have a
process.
Yeah, have some form of warm beverage and a smoke.
Yeah,
it's interesting. So I did see on there's a number of. So you've got the UK Tech Metal Fest official page, but there's also the UK TM. I suppose it's
community group.
It's community group, but it's almost like the unofficial page now because even Simon will post on there. And in fact, just when we were talking about festivals a few episodes ago, one thing, can I just give a massive, huge thank you to Simon for, is on this unofficial community page, the Monday I think it was before the festival, or even the Friday the week before, he posted the entire price list for UK tech metal merch.
Amazing.
And then the day of the festival, the Thursday, because it's a shorter day, he let everyone know there was a problem with the card machines, so that at least for the Thursday, potentially the Friday, even though they were trying to get the card machines working, that you really would need to have cash. And again, that's just how the sort of the how nice and chill this sort of festival is, and that the organiser straight away into an unofficial group, open, clear, honest communication. But
and how quickly the word spreads as well.
Yeah, but going off because I'm off on a tangent there. You've gone on about sort of going home and not watching Betraying the Martyrs. Now, that community group UKTM, certainly quite a few people did enjoy Betraying the Martyrs.
But I saw videos. They had some fucking crazy wall of death going.
Yeah,
but I do think that
people who saw it said they were really, really fucking good. But
I do think
I just want in the place.
Left. I do think quite a few people left, and this is a completely different genre that I'm going to talk about now. But I remember something similar happening back in the sort of the late 90s. There was a kind of a hardcore, I wouldn't call it an all-dayer, but it was in Sheffield Corporation, the old Corporation venue, not the current one, and it had about 5 or 6 hardcore bands, and the headliner was supposed to be Madball. But due to various scheduling muck-ups, Madball had to take almost a sub-headliner slot, and there was this like UK hardcore band had to headline, and I kind of felt so sorry for this UK band. Because as soon as Madball played, what do you think happened? Yeah, Luke's just kind of done like the flybird, like everyone tipped out. And I was walking out, you saw this like loyal sort of 10, which was probably all this UK band's friends. And I kind of had visions when I was listening to Sleep Token, and I just thought, people, and I know people camping there would probably stay and maybe watch Betraying the Martyrs, but I just thought, a lot of people, if they've packed their tents, and they end up going back to the
work,
tent,
and as well, I've seen the thread.
They're going to be like, right, I've seen Sleep Token, I am happy, the life is complete, nothing can top that. They were very
basically
chill.
how me and you were, Luke,
That's
wasn't it?
And it's a Sunday.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that like a great way to close a festival with a more chill act?
Yeah.
Maybe
no
Simon,
doubt.
and I'm not criticising him for putting him as a sub-headliner and saying, oh, you were wrong to do that. But does this queue up? Is this how maybe he should close the festival on a Sunday? With a really chill progressive act?
We've totally spoken about this before about like,
do we think
the
is this
integration of possible like post-rock acts into,
do we think this is
like,
the way
Techfest
forward?
Potentially, because it's
a
a
hot
great
festival,
Yeah.
and everyone's tired at Newark, aren't they? Because those two sheds, you know,
It beats
we went
the
home.
fuck out of you all day as
Yeah,
well,
and we
doesn't
go home. To be fair, right, guys, people listening in, we go home to a proper bed
yeah,
and a
'cause
shower.
we're only 20 minutes away.
You know, we're not in a tent.
Yeah.
Is this the way to go? Does he need to go with slow post metal, but as the headliner, not the sub? What do you think, guys?
I'm all for it. There's a fucking hell of a lot to choose from. It doesn't have to be like Sleep Token. There's a hell of a lot of post-rock bands out there that could close that down.
Alcest,
Russian Circles,
Death Haven,
even though they're more on the kind of, I would say, the extreme end of it.
Yeah.
But still, more of a chill day. You could pick any fucking chill band, really.
Tides wants to get a bit bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, Tides. Or even my top pick, which is an album that is fucking blowing my mind this year, is fucking Night Verses.
Night Verses.
They are so good.
I would love them to close a Sunday because it'd be like,
I think we might be hitting on something. I think
See you later. Yeah.
3.5 days in those hot metal sheds. You don't want a brutal deathcore act to close a Sunday. You want something a bit chill, a bit of an experience.
Bring you down.
You don't want to do a wall of death. You don't want to do a biggest fucking circle pit.
Because you've been doing it all weekend.
Exactly. You want an experience. Is this the way forward?
Yeah, potentially.
I believe so.
We spoke.
I mean,
about
this.
We spoke about it earlier, like how Tides From Nebula almost seemed like it was cool music that I seemed to be far more comfortable listening to, like real wave heavy music rather than just something that I'm just constantly tense and bobbing my head to, and it makes sense. And I think that that's why they worked so great where they were on, like, second stage headliners. You got some time to comfort yourself before ingested,
Martyr Defiled, and Acacia Strain. Yeah, it was
that
a nice
was a fucking pummeling
comfort break from all that brutality. Yeah,
it's a nice way to do it because it's almost like how you space out an album. Is that you have heavy songs and mid-paced songs or bands and lighter and more atmospheric bands or songs linked in there, so it's almost like an experience for you rather than we got these 25 bands that all sound the same.
Yeah, and I want you to go mental in the pit, but I'm just going to say, if you can hear this track in the background, nearly brought me to tears when I was in.
It's like melting a little bit over there.
It was fucking unreal.
Yeah.
Like, these are one of my acts that are bands I've seen live. I've got a top 5, right? And these are smashed into my top 5.
So the reason why a lot of people think they're a secret act as well is, for anyone who's listening, they are playing the Leeds and Reading festivals, and apparently they are exclusives for Leeds and Reading. So apparently that is why they were. That's so the rumour mill goes, that they were secret because they'd signed an exclusive contract, which festivals, I don't agree with it, but exclusive seems to be the way that festivals are going. So that way you don't announce it, you don't put it on the tickets. So anyone who is going to Leeds and Reading, you're in for a treat.
Oh my god.
Oh god. If you don't go see this band, you're fucking stupid in my estimation. If you do not experience what these guys bring to the table,
even if it's fucking cold day, you don't need to take a coat. This will warm you.
Oh yeah.
Get yourself
fucking waves of.
Get yourself a smoke. Get yourself, I don't know, maybe quite close, because I mean.
Feel it.
People ain't gonna be like, fucking barging you out the way. This ain't the music for it.
No.
So it doesn't matter where you stand.
You're probably just gonna look at the person next to you, even if you don't know him, and you're probably at the end of the set, you're probably gonna fucking give him a big hug because you've just seen something fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Transcendent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So with that in mind, go listen to some Sleep Token. And,
worship.
Worship.
Worship, definitely.
Thank you very much for sitting through the 2+ hours of content that we've had, and we've had to put together. Jay, can you get those thanks up again?
Yep.
So we just wanted to throw them out again at the end of the episode and Techfest experience, as it were. So we have, firstly, we've got James and Hannah at Hold Tight PR. Thank you very much for giving us a go. Although we were a new podcast and we're not massively popular, thank you for giving us the opportunity. Rachael at ENSO Management for hooking us up with Fractions. Great bunch of guys, thank you. Shaun at Loki Films, always the dude. Jake at Miscreant for agreeing on the unprompted interview. All the stewards who put in a ton of hard work for some brutally hot, Mediterranean.
Round of applause from me.
Woo! Techfest woo!
There it is, Ric Flair. And Simon Garrett for organising, and obviously Nicole at AlternateBeans.com for always giving us a shout out.
Yeah, we love you, Nicole.
So I'm not sure what we're going to be doing with the next episode. I think we've got a couple of things lined up.
Yeah, a few album reviews, probably back to normal.
A couple of album reviews, back to sadly back to normal. But I think we've got something
Let's not all
coming up as well. So
let's not all Ian Beale cry.
So thank you very much, and speak to you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye y'all.